Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Are You Ready for Your Inspection podcast. Thank you for joining me. If you're listening on a Monday morning for your Monday motivation, thank you for listening to me. Today I have a very special guest. In fact, I've done it's been a bit of a podcast recording day, and extremely lucky to have this lady on the podcast with me. So I'm going to let her introduce it to herself, to me. So say who you are, where you're from, and almost a bit like Cilla Black, and say what your job role is.
Hi, Vanessa. So my name is Rochelle Smith, and I'm the nursery manager at the University of Bradford Nursery.
Okay, and how long have you been there?
So I've been in this position for 3.5 years, commenced in February 2020, 6 weeks pre-COVID.
Okay, so I've got a list of questions. So I'm asking everybody that comes on and does a conversation with me, a little bit of conversation, the same questions really. So I haven't just made them up for you. So don't feel, sorry. They are. We might go off tangent because that's what you and I probably do. So my first question to you is, what motivated you and your setting for getting a quality improvement audit? What triggered it? What made it?
Yeah, so I think it's a really good question. I think 3.5 years sounds like a long time. Obviously from when I was commenced into my role, it goes incredibly quick. There was lots of things that we wanted to do and that we have done over the last 3.5 years. Obviously COVID formed a big part of that we wasn't going to be, we wasn't aware of.
No.
But it came as part of the parcel really. So on top of everything that we wanted to do, we also had COVID to juggle with. So the last 3.5 years were a little bit of a struggle at times. Lots of staff recruitment and retention difficulties, lots of self-evaluation, lots of improvements at the nursery. And then we came out of COVID and we continued to do all that. So we continued to improve and build on everything that we had done over probably about 18 months to 2 years. And we just wanted to get ourselves further down that road really. Now the statutory framework for the EYFS was reviewed, that was reformed, the Ofsted inspection framework's also been updated in line with that. So keeping on top of lots of changes that were ongoing just in the sector generally, and the updates that we wanted to do in line with just our self-evaluation and general improvements, we wanted to take a step back really and just pause for a moment and have some insight into where we felt we got to, but also with an external pair of eyes. And that's really where you came in. We wanted somebody with experience, somebody who would listen to us, would see the journey that we've been on really, and be able to help us to continue to self-evaluate, but really that additional pair of eyes. I think that's really what we wanted, to ensure that we was one, compliant, which we was sure we was, but it's really good to have the extra pair of eyes. But also all the improvements that we've made, were they, could you see those as you were walking around the nursery? Could we articulate those confidently enough? So we wanted a little bit of support with that as well, and the learning walk, we wanted a little bit of support with that. So yeah.
So talk me through. So you've got 3 rooms, is that right?
Yeah, 3 rooms.
So your baby room is an external building. So just up on campus or just outside campus, or is it on campus? Would you call it on campus?
No, so we're just off campus, about a 5-minute walk with 2 buildings. Baby room's only a stone throw away, but it is a separate building to our 2 to 5-year-old building.
Yeah, and we did something a little bit different with you, didn't we? Because obviously you're quite far away from me. So we thought, okay, so before we did the quality improvement audit, we have a number of Zooms, I would have said you and I were, just to see where you were, me listening to where you think you are. And one of the things that I think I know I picked up on you guys as a team is that you are so reflective. I remember thinking, my goodness me, they are so on this and I want to improve on everything that they do.
Yeah.
So what we decided was that I would come up, do your quality improvement audit, do a little bit of training in the evening, just talking about the findings of what went on during that day, and then the next day spend a little bit of time in each of that room. And I've never done that before. I've never done that. But for me, I was thinking, oh gosh, how's that going to happen? Because normally you do an audit, and then you go home and you write the report and you check in with them to make sure everything is okay. But actually, it's almost like you've invested in this, say, program, and you go, okay, this is where we want to go from it. That's where we want to improve. That's what we want to do. Yeah. So thinking about anxiety. Okay. First of all, how did you find Jigsaw? Because I am always intrigued, and I can't remember if I.
We absolutely loved it. You know, it's been nothing but a positive experience from the absolute start. You know, it's been beneficial in so many ways.
Google, did you?
Yeah, Google and Facebook, I would say. I'm not a big TikTok person. I have downloaded it now. But yeah, I would say Facebook and Google, looking at lots of reviews and comparisons right across the sector.
Okay, because you obviously you're quite far, and there's going to be more. Yeah. So talk to me about anxiety then. What were you anxious about? What was the bit that scared you?
I think when you're working so hard day in, day out on self-evaluation, reflections, continuous improvements, a question you always ask yourself is, are we doing it right? Are we getting this right? Are we missing something? Because I think when you're in the thick of it, it's really easy to miss things. And sometimes it might be the smallest things that you miss, because you're focusing on the bigger picture. So, I could have recited the statutory framework in my sleep, but I was still thinking, are we compliant? Are we doing everything that we should be doing? So I think that was the most anxious thing for me, really. Are we doing everything that we're supposed to be doing? And is everything that we have done been worth it?
Okay, so think about the feelings of your staff team then. What do you think? How are they?
So mixed, I would say. Some were a little bit nervous about the whole process, very excited as well. We had excitement right across the staff team. Lots of staff wanting to get prepared and really showcase, who they are and what they can do. But yeah, of course, we had nerves. It's quite normal to have nerves. And I think as it was getting closer, those nerves started to show a little bit more, and I think we saw those today.
Yeah, we did. And I think that's what I liked about doing you guys, is the fact that me going in the next day, your staff team listened to what I was saying in the evening and say, this is what I'm finding, this is what I saw. And so the next day, for me, I think I was probably more anxious than what they were, because I was like, have they listened? Have they? And I can honestly say that your baby room the next day, well, the girls will tell you, I cried because it floored me, absolutely floored me. Because it's time to be like really honest in the fact that actually not everything goes according to plan, does it?
No, it doesn't. And there were things that, the staff team were a little bit upset at the end of the day. They did say, oh God, Vanessa didn't see us for what we are, and we didn't do this, we didn't do that, and we were doing this, but she didn't see it. And it was just a really good self-reflection. It was really good for us to be able to step back and say, it's not that we don't believe in you, it's not that you're not doing it, it's just that we need to look at how we are showcasing that in that such a short space of time.
That's what we said, didn't we? You've got that slot.
It goes so quick, and you don't realise how fast it goes and how much you need to get into that short space of time.
And I remember that on the second day when I came in, when I sat and watched the baby room, and speaking to a staff member and saying, what's your well, actually, I put it out. So what's your intention? I put it out to the whole room thinking, right, let's see who's going to answer me. And this staff member answered me, and it was like, well, it makes me go goose goggy now. No kidding. I've got those, you know, when your goosebumps come to the surface, because I was just like, my God, she listened to exactly what I said, and then elaborated on how she's done it. And that to me was, and I don't often see that, because I don't stay and do the next day. And that was a biggie for us, wasn't it?
It was, because, you know, it was evident that the staff team were 100% on board, and they wanted to, you know, better themselves and really showcase that they can listen, and, you know, they are able to do these things. It's just in that moment when those nerves, you know, hit in, and it's, you know, you feel like all eyes are on you. You know, it's like a rabbit in the headlights sort of thing.
It is, isn't it? Don't make eye contact. Let's get away. Yeah, it was. I remember. Yeah. So changes then. What changes have you made? What is it from that?
So I would say one of the main changes we've made across the nursery is the way that we articulate our intent for individual children in line with our curriculum. The staff team were able to articulate their intent, but it was more focused on continuous provision and activities rather than individual like focused children. So we've now brought in focused children. We've been practicing it every day, 10 times a day, and I have to say, you know, it's amazing the changes that we can see, the confidence levels that we can see in the staff being able to articulate that, not just for their own individual key children, but for other key children as well. So if their key person isn't in that day, you know, and their backup key person stepping in, they're really confident to articulate what they've put in place for that child that day, and it might be part of the continuous provision, it might be an enhanced provocation, but the way that they're able to now articulate that is much more understandable. So that's a change that we've made right across the nursery, and that's been really beneficial.
Oh my God, that gives me goosebumps. I think that's amazing, because the thing is, you can change it, but you got to keep doing it. You got to keep doing it to embed it.
And we'll always have staff. Some staff are, you know, a little bit more confident than others, and that's absolutely fine. And we are utilising that resource, and those staff members are supporting those that don't feel as confident with it. So we're really trying to support each other as a whole right across the nursery. So we're in and out of rooms throughout the day, popping in, asking them these questions, but they're also doing it between themselves as the team as well, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, really, really, really good to see. What about feedback then from the team? Has there been any feedback from their experience with what we did when we go out?
Yeah, they were really confident, I think, following the visit. I think on the Tuesday evening, they were all a little bit thinking, oh, a bit disheartened, maybe you've not seen everything that they wanted you to see, but actually, following that, they were able to, we've read the report, we've gone through each section with each room lead who's fed it back to the team, and it's been really beneficial. So yeah, really good feedback.
Brilliant, brilliant. So if you, one question, would you recommend it, and why?
Yeah, I would 100% recommend it. I think that it would be beneficial for any nursery manager and a setting as a whole, just to take a pause, a stop, a step back. I think we're all so busy every day, and it's really easy just to get wrapped up in everything that we're doing.
Isn't it?
Yeah, and to have that extra support and that extra pair of eyes was really beneficial for us, and it's definitely something that we would be doing again in the future. We wouldn't be leaving it 3.5 years this time.
No, don't leave it 3.5 years this time. No, don't. I'm really, honestly, you're one of the like I said to you, the most reflective settings that I've ever met. And actually, you want to keep going with what you're doing. You're right, it's hard when it's your business, when you're in it, you don't see sometimes the bigger picture, do you? So someone else so for anyone listening then, any advice that you would give?
Oh, any advice? So I think be confident with what you're doing, you know, continue to do what's right for you and for your setting. Yeah, and just, you know, if you do feel like you need some support, you know, reach out. You know, there's so many people out there that can support you. Vanessa is absolutely amazing, and her team. We access
And it
lots of
doesn't stop, does
training.
it?
No, it doesn't stop.
No. The person that Amanda, who I've just done a podcast with, and I didn't prime her on this, but she said, you know, when you pay for a service, you do the service, someone does the service, and then that's it. And she said, but I will send you an email and you'll respond to me straight away, or pick the phone up and talk to me. She said, I never thought that would be the case. And what I was trying to get across to Amanda was, you're actually one of my settings now. I want to be part of that journey, and I think Jigsaw is you know, that's a good thing for us to want to be doing that, because I want to see the end result. I want to see where you're going.
Yeah, absolutely. We 100% want you to come back. We want you to see how far we've come from the previous audit, how much we've grown, and I think the staff team just really want you to see how much they've taken everything on board.
Yeah, and that's really important, I think, because what it does, it gives them confidence, and if they can ooze confidence on the day of the inspection, it's so much easier that day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So much smoother. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. I really do appreciate it. I know you're extremely busy, so I thank you for that. Any of you that are listening to this podcast now who are interested in a quality improvement audit, please reach out. Our email is admin@jigsaweyc.com, or you can get us on www.jigsawEarlyyearsConsultancy.com. Rochelle, thank you so much. Thank you. I so appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Vanessa. Bye.
Bye.